What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I had to think about that. Got home, took a nap, just woke up, so I apologize. But what's going on, everybody? Happy New Comic Book Day Eve. Happy Moon Knight Episode 5 Eve. I can't wait to watch that episode. Hopefully we have some time just after the show to talk about Moon Knight a little bit. Definitely going to get Mr. Rocksteady's picks for tomorrow, but definitely looking forward to today's show. Like I said, if I look bad, it's just because I finished work, took a nap, and I just woke up. All right, let's bring in our special guest today, friend of the show, friend of the family, Newbieverse. Let's welcome Greg, aka Rocksteady Collectibles, for the third time. I think it is third or fourth, but let's bring him in. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Third or fourth time? I think it's third.
Anything past 3, I usually lose count. So at least third. At least 3.
At least 3. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Counting's tough, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you hanging out with me, even though I look terrible. Just took a nap after work, and if it wasn't for my wife waking me up, Newbieverse show probably wouldn't be happening right now. So yeah. So big shout outs to the wife for waking me up. You excited, man? New Comic Book Day, Moon Knight tomorrow. Crazy. You excited? Any plans?
It's a good day. Yeah, new comic book day. Like, I'm a huge turtle guy, right? So Last Ronin finally. So I think wake up, watch Moon Knight, then read Last Ronin 1 through 4.
Just to get yourself hyped and ready for episode 5.
Yeah, okay, usually I'm all about like speculation, first appearances. Like this one is like story for me. I hear there is a first appearance too, though.
But, it's first cover and first appearance, I believe, right? So yeah. But yeah, Newbie says he just woke up. His eyes look like he's been smoking. I don't smoke. I'm not Mr. Kia Shoes or Face. No, I literally was dead beat from work, man. I came home passed out. Like I said, the Heat were playing, and I'm like missing that. So yeah, but big shout outs to
the Heat were playing, so he fell asleep.
hey, come on. But yeah, just one of those days. But yeah, you're right. You know, Last Ronin, first cover, it looks like first appearance as well. I think the only thing with those books, right, is one, the fact that it's taken like a year to get to this point, not to mention the price tag. I mean, the price tag is like $8.99 or $9.99 US. So like a lot of people, I know talking to a lot of people, they're like, fuck, I don't want to get 10 copies because that literally puts me at like $80. You know, most people are just grabbing like 1 or 2 just simply because of the price tag, right?
So that's good.
Yeah. The only thing with Last Ronin though, like anytime anybody's been like, hey, you know, pick Last Ronin up, they're literally there on the shelves though. Like I don't have to like.
But number 1 is like what, $100?
Yeah. The ash can is like 200, isn't it?
Yeah, I have no. Ash cans don't hold value, man.
Really?
Ash can crash.
I sold at a good time then because
I sold good then.
I picked up like a stack. Remember that like 2-page thing? I literally picked up a stack. I remember telling Key Issues, I was like, dude, pick some of these up, and he grabbed I think like 2. And when I told him that they were selling for $100 raw,
yeah. So what's really cool about that ash can is the ash can came out. And the artwork was crap. And they were like, this is garbage. So there was a huge delay because they had to redraw number 1. So it's kind of cool because it's different from the other. So as an ash can, I think it stands out a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But ash cans have a hard time holding value.
I remember when I purchased my Hulk 181, the guy actually took off $150 from the price because he knew I had like I think at the time I had like 4 ash cans. Yeah, because it was last year. Or was it last
2 years ago at least?
2 years ago. Sorry. No, that I bought the Hulk 181.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was 2020. I can't remember. Anyway, a year ago or 2 years ago. Anyway, at the time I had 3 left, and the guy was like, "Hey man, I'll knock $150 off if you throw in one of those ash cans." I was like, "Done." Like I didn't even give a fuck. I was just like, "Yeah, if I can knock, you know, more off the top on the Hulk 181, it's like, yeah, no problem." And yeah, so if you're telling me that they're not going for that, like, fuck, that sucks. I think the last one I sold for was like $75.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're going for, but they're not going for what they were.
Yeah. So I'm happy because I literally had like 10 copies and I sold every single one of them. So it's not bad. But all right, enough of Ninja Turtles. We're excited because we're talking about keys that we might be sleeping on and we might have to put, a flashlight on, or maybe, microscope and check them out. Maybe we shouldn't be overlooking these books. Now, again, buy at your own risk. We're not telling you to buy them, but these are just some of the books that we've been thinking about. And well, actually, Greg just saw them for the first time just before this, but
I have my opinions.
Yeah, you got your opinions, and I want to hear them. But yeah, it's gonna be a good show. Hopefully, you guys agree. If not, it's always great to have back and forth dialogue and discussion. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. So let's get right to it. Let's say hello to the chat, and then we'll rock and roll, man. Michael Baker, what's going on? You're taking home the gold. Mr. Dan Delatorre is taking home the silver. What's going on, Dan? Mr. Bernard, he's taking home the bronze. What is going on? Uncanny Swag with the copper. That one doesn't exist up here in Canada. After 3, it's like
participation or nothing.
Yeah. So, Ninja Squirrel 30. Can you do a Scarlet Spider CGC episode in the future? Like you mean like spec stuff for Scarlet Spider? Definitely. That's actually I've got a few ideas for that one.
With the Spider-Verse announcement.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Jolt. I'm not sure why. Not always. I'll take that back. I've not always been, but like I just feel like that's a character that they could do just easy, quick, one and done. Bring in a badass female and kind of call it a day. Comic Kingpins are in the house. What's going on? This episode gets a 1 out of 10 since no Layla. Yeah, no, definitely, man. I appreciate that. Totally.
Tired and itchy.
Big shout outs to Layla, by the way. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her tomorrow. So yeah. Miguel is in the house. What is going on, sir? You're next. Answer me this. What would happen if Rogue touched Venom? Well, first of all, it would have to have consent, because if there's no consent, I don't want anything to do with this question. So what would happen if Rogue touched Venom with consent? Would she be taken over by the symbiote, or would she become the symbiote in addition to her regular powers?
Or both.
Or both. Yeah. But consent, that's what we're looking for here. It's got to be consensual because, we got power too. Big shout outs to Johnny Depp fighting for male abuse power and all that jazz. Hernani, what's going on, man? Newbie says he just woke up. His eyes look. No. I don't do any of that stuff. Corona's like the max that I do, man. Bullshit. You were crying watching The Lion King. What's going on, BC? How you doing, bud?
Crying watching the Heat.
Yeah. Hey, I think they were winning when that happened. RP's in the house. What's going on, man? Uncanny Swag is in the house. Funhouse Comics. Chris Journo is in a bad way right now. His cat is dying and funds are tight for him now. He has a GoFundMe and raffle. Oh, okay. Sweet. I did not know. So sweet. Mr. Hyper Combo is in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? The Negative Zone. How's it going, man? Negative Zone's got a Whatnot. He's kind of killing it right now. So make sure, if you're on that Whatnot, go check out Mr. The Negative Zone. Drew, Mr. Como is here. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Heat, man. Yeah. We got to go. We got to win this one. We got to close it out. No Lowry, no Butler. So let's just do it. Did he say fighting for male abuse? No, that's not what I meant. But close. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I enjoy, what all the Canadians and what all the people are doing on Whatnot. But yeah, the Negative Zone, he's always tuning into mine, and I'm going into his. Sometimes getting outbid on some of the books that he posts. But hey, that's what Whatnot is, right? So, would you consider doing a video of a top modern Marvel comic runs for read? Ooh, probably not. Maybe check out the Comic Kingpins because they do more of that. That's more up their alley. Not so much here, but thanks, Levy. All right, fight for right. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's get it going. Ninth Wonder's in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing? He's missing the D. That's what the I thing is about. That's a joke from the other night. All right. Well, let's get it started, man. I'm excited. Yeah, there you go. Levy, there you go. Comic Kingpins will definitely take that one. Like I said, they're great for that stuff. They're hardcore readers and everything like that. So check it out. Newbieverse, it's more flip, investment, and yeah. So diversify. So big shout outs to the Comic Kingpins because that's what they do. So make sure you guys go tune in. All right. Let's get it going, man. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's roll.
Dun, 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 dun. Bam. Are we sleeping on these keys? I wish I had like a little piano beside me, like dun, 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 dun. But I wasn't gifted with musical talents, so I apologize, people.
The Kingpins are gonna cut that and use that
for sure. Yeah, man. Get your spec game on in the Newbieverse. Yep, that's what's up. Brandon, would you consider doing a show about overpriced modern investments? Oh, I could do that. 100% I could do that.
That's half of what we do.
Yeah, that's really up my alley. So yeah, we can definitely do that. Coming up, so guys, I want to give you guys a little bit of an input, but coming up, Ryan from Automatic Comics is going to be joining us. We usually do once a month keys to invest in. This month, or actually May 10th, he's going to be joining the show, and we are actually going to be doing keys to avoid. Then we got like more investment stuff, but yeah, I can definitely throw that one in for sure, man.
And if you have ideas, put it in the chat after the show because we can go back and read those.
Yeah,
and we can look at them for sure.
Yeah, I don't mind doing a lot of stuff, man. I'd rather you guys let me know. But yeah, let's get into it. Are we sleeping on these keys? 9 books that we're going to be talking about. So let's get it going. Did you get Keys' consent? If not, I want nothing to do with your sleeping on him. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
Alicia Keys?
Ooh, I like that. Well played, sir. Well played. Keys to avoid with Mr. Keys. He's more of a Spawn guy anyway, so, whatever. All right. Let's get to it. Keys that we are sleeping on. And yes, okay, DC people, get ready because I'm throwing you guys a bone. I'm throwing you one book in the 9. And guess what? You're up first because I'm putting your book up first. And I apologize for the image because I guess my Google didn't want to work with the photo that I got. But we got Justice League number 31, first full, right? We run into that issue with the first full with this character, but Jessica Cruz was running wild. Everybody was putting respect on the Lanterns and the Justice League in a DC book all last year. HBO, I think it's HBO or Hulu. I can't remember which one. If I had to be a betting man, I'd say 60-40. It is Hulu, but they had the Green Lantern show that's coming out. Current raw prices, $30 to $50 Canadian. And a current 9.8 just sold for $254, which, if you guys remember, 9.8s in this book were selling for about double when the noise was there, right? It was about like $550 Canadian. So, it's HBO Max. Okay. Big shout outs to 9th with the information there. But yeah, if you guys remember, this was basically double when the heat, right? So what happens? Every book does one of those. It is at that point where we're sleeping on it. Nobody's talking about it. This is a good book to pick up, especially because all the factors that made this book hot are still the same factors that will make this book hot again. Greg, I got to ask you, are we sleeping on this key?
So I'm not a huge DC guy, but you just have to look at the market, right? And you have to look at peaks and valleys. And then you have to look at potential of a character because people are like, oh, a character is going to show up and people get really hyped up on it. But if you look long term, that character is only going to last 1 movie, 2 movies max. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you look at the Lanterns, okay? And you have Jessica Cruz. You can't have a team without a female on it, like nowadays.
Yeah.
So she's basically a lock. And the Lantern in a cosmic DC universe are here to stay. So, which, in my opinion, I think Jessica Cruz is here to stay. So I do think it's at a low. I think it's a great buying opportunity. And a $254 9.8 first appearance is very reasonable.
Especially if you're in the ball game of, your game is picking up raws, right? So let's say, you know, at $30 you're picking up 4. I mean, that's still, you know, 30, 60, 90, 120, you know, 120, 150 for 4 or 5 of them. But at the same time, like at that point, you know, I would just want that 9.8, especially because the show is already confirmed, right? So why not just take the gamble? And honestly, Greg, I don't know about you, man. And, you know, again, everybody's finance is different. So in the chat, you know, if it sounds like I'm saying this is nothing, it's not. You know, every dollar is earned and every dollar is worked and all that. But for a 9.8 in this hobby, for a character that's going to show up and seems to be a character that's going to stay, a 9.8 right off the bat at 254 Canadian, that's not a bad play, right? Anything under 300, I think, is a smart play for an established character that could have a longevity.
Absolutely. Look at what's happening to the other new 52 stuff as well, right? So it's really starting to pop off.
Do you own this book, by the way? I'm not sure if I
don't own this. I don't really have much DC, to be honest. I do like to watch the market, and I am interested, but I don't have this one.
And, you know, like I always say, there is still meat on this bone for sure.
I also think if you're trying to play the peaks and valleys and you're buying it raw, you're still leaving the variable of how long is it going to take for me to get this book back from CGC or CBCS, right?
Yeah.
So if you're really into that buy now, sell, buy, sell, you're better off buying the 9.8 and playing on those profits than I think submitting and then a trailer dropping when your book is still 2 months away and then getting it back during another valley or whatever, right?
It's true. Now, this show, too, is also at like a question mark, right? Because like I think it was already slated to come out, but it hasn't, correct?
I don't know.
Like there's it was slated to come out. Obviously, it hasn't, but there's no release date on when.
Yeah, no release date.
That's what I meant.
We don't know, like, we barely know anything about this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Who was it that leaked that picture of the Green Lanterns like a month ago, right? Everybody thought it was Jon Stewart, that African American with the Green Lantern ring.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean,
and
maybe they're just and maybe they're just dropping hints. Maybe they're dropping Easter eggs. Maybe they're trying to, you know, leave a trail. So who knows? You know, I've been very vocal about DC characters. You know, if I had to pick one, I would pick Green Lantern myself.
Yeah.
It's just a cool character. So we'll see. I'm excited for this one, and I don't really say that a lot about like a lot of the DC stuff. But again, Peacemaker, really good. You know, Black Adam, I think is going to do really good. You know, Aquaman 2, if it comes out, especially with this Amber Heard stuff, I mean, it could be cool too. So we'll see. But
I think DC is starting to do it right.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Discovery has everything on hold. Yeah, that's the problem. Comic Chic is saying first Guy Gardner went up after the announcement of the cast. I feel like this book can still go up once they announce everything. And yeah, and guys, let's be honest. Like this isn't even just me talking, you know, and saying, you know, foolishness, but like usually when a character shows up, has a show, has a movie, whatever the case may be, across the board, the 9.8 is either if not a 4-digit number, it's close to it. What I mean by that is if it's not passing $1,000, it's literally damn close to being $1,000. Right? So this one could be something. I mean, if you're buying it at 254, you could see an investment. And again, you know, a lot of these things are investments for people.
There's also a multiplier effect or a divider effect, depending how you want to look at it. DCs as a whole are on a low as well. So this is like double low right now. So if DC does a lot of DCU stuff and it gets good again, you're going to see that gap to close. And this is like an A-level character.
Yeah. And like you said, female, right? And nowadays you do need that female character. So we'll see. I'm excited for the Guardians stuff. All right, DC people. If you just came to see, hey, what sleeping DC picks is Newbie going to take? That's the only one you guys get. So it was nice having you in here. I hope you stick around, but I always show love to DC. I always try to anyway. All right, let's move on to book number 2.
Now that DC is out the way.
Now that DC. Avengers 23. Now we might see a theme through a lot of these books, but you know, let's look at Avengers 23. Obviously hot for one reason. First appearance of Ravonna. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a dope cover, right? It's cool. It's interesting. prior to the Loki show, I don't think this was on anybody's radar, right? Like, it just wasn't. Early Avengers, nevertheless. So, you know, if you're an Avengers collector, early Avengers collector, an early collector of comics, 12 center, you know, things like that, you probably, you know, had this on your radar. But this one really did spike when the character was announced. Now, she's returning for season 2. At the end of season 1, she basically had that, like, I'm going to go and find this. Da, 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 da. So we know the character's coming back. It's been confirmed that she's coming back. Current raw prices, though, are $50 to $180, which is pretty cheap. Current CGC prices. Now, I did take, for all these books, I did go and find the latest CGC, just so then that way you guys can kind of make your own assumptions on what grade. But obviously, some other grades probably weren't sold yet. So the last CGC sold for this one was a 7.0 at $680. That's not bad. I kind of compare this book to, let's see, what book could I compare it to? Maybe FF94, you know, along those lines, right? Like, supporting character, but still has a lot of meat. I mean, like anything, right? When the character returns, there's going to be money value in it. So on the investment side, you can get this one cheap. I still think it's a, you know, it's a steal, meat on the bone for sure. But where are you? Are you sleeping on this book?
Well, I think as a whole, we're sleeping on Avengers under 50.
Under 50? Oh, yeah, okay.
Right? So I think we're looking at a book like Fantastic Four under 50, or Spider-Man under 50, or X-Men under 50. Like, they're becoming harder to find, especially in that higher grade. So, and then we're talking about a really dark cover that is impossible to find in a really high grade. So now we're in the heat of Kang speculation.
Yeah.
Very closely related. And then you hear about the new Guardians movie, and wasn't there rumors like it's going to be more Gamora and Nebula related? And I know there's strong ties to Nebula as well. So I'm wondering if there could be carryover from movie to movie. So I think we might see her in more than just one more movie.
I've been saying for a while, and that's pretty much why I picked up all those origins of Nebula, right. Avengers 260. Her first appearance is probably one of the cheapest first appearances for like an OG character and a character that's been around for a long time. It's still pretty cheap. I think she's got a future. I think that they're like, I say she's got a future after she's been in like 6 movies, but I think it's a character that she'll be used. I think Ravonna will be too. I think Ravonna, she might be one of those like time running characters that, you know, kind of connects a lot of things. I could definitely see it. But I'm interested in a comment that you just made. You think that Avengers under 50 is very undervalued. I've always done this when we've talked about certain books, but, you know, really quickly, if you had to pick, and now I'm going to add Avengers, but if you had to pick, and just for the sake of it, let's go to 52, 1 to 52. If you had to pick ASM, FF, or Avengers, what are you picking?
Oh, FF.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I think I usually ask that question when.
But ASM has so many first appearances in that first 50.
So does Fantastic Four, though.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I'd probably go with the first.
Yeah, I'm going FF all day, man. Yeah. Especially if you can get me to 52, like I'm there.
Yeah.
So, but I do agree. I think Avengers is undervalued when you think of like the other runs, right? Like even if you throw X-Men in there, like, you know, I do think that. And
it's a key, like it's a big key.
Yeah. So but I mean, Ra, when I think of people thinking of characters that are going to be on shows confirmed or even movies, right? And you see that price Ra $50 to $100, I mean, that's still a good play. So,
well, that's like what Valentina Allegro, whatever it was going for, and now she's through the roof. But
yeah, I think we need to get like confirmation of like what her like full name is going, because like it's funny having that conversation because people are like, yeah, Valentina, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just
if they could get Valentina? To Madame Mask real fast, that would be great.
Yeah.
Or Madame Hydra or whatever it is.
Just make it very simple. Yeah. Very simple. All right, let's go on to book number 3. And book number 3, and again, I apologize, I don't know what's going on. I couldn't find the actual comic. Google wouldn't let me take the rights to it, so I had to get this. So obviously, there's like a signature in a black, but this isn't it. But we got Daredevil 11. Now, this one's very important because talking to people the last week and a half, I've been asked questions. You know, I have conversations all the time with people. And I've been asked, they're like, hey, Noob, you know, like, give me 1 or 2 books, and I won't give you all my secrets. I just, you know, I'll give some. But people have been saying, like, you know, what's a book that you've quietly been trying to like locate and grab? This is it right here. Daredevil 11. Now hear me out, because I know people are going to be like, well, what about 9? What about 10? 9 is the first appearance of Maya Lopez. 10 is the first cover appearance, and 11 is the first appearance of her as Echo. So we run into that problem of the character versus what they become. And in some cases, it works for other books. And in this case, a lot of people are still going for 9. However, I don't know if people have realized, but CGC is now labeling this as first appearance of Echo. They weren't doing that before. You guys can go check out some of the citations and some of the descriptions in the blue labels, but CGC is describing this one as the first appearance. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you. I'm not making these rules up. This is just CGC. Do I think 9 is a better cover? 100%. But sometimes we just got to open the books and see what the character is, right? So even though she is Echo, we're introduced to her as Maya in 9, right? So that's where the thing is. And I know people are going to hate it. If you go on eBay, you look at the prices of 9 and this one is getting blown out the water by 9. But I do think that now with CGC coming out and labeling this as the first appearance, more and more people are going to be like, oh, shoot, okay, well, let me get this one. Don't forget, she's got her own show coming out late 2023. Greg, are we sleeping on this key?
How quickly we forget. Like it's unreal. Like, I remember there were like 2 weeks or like 5 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it was. It was like Kate Bishop, Echo, Kate Bishop, Echo. And then like I don't even hear their names being spoken of. And everybody's like, you know, that's the greatest Marvel show they've made, you know, all that whole jazz. And then here we are. So I think it's great on a lot of levels. We kind of get in that same discussion like we were talking about the other day, like first Riri versus first Ironheart versus first cover versus all these things where get them all. This is going to be a character that's going to be around. So that's the difference. This isn't a one and done. Own show. Like, I can't say enough good things about it. I enjoyed Echo as a character as well. Pretty badass. So yeah, I like this. And if you can find it in that half price section, or if you can find it for a steal in a raw copy, I think there's lots of room there, but you have to be very careful. This cover is very prone to dirt. So all these white David Mack covers are fantastic, but hold them up to the light, angle them, take a really good look at them if you're going to submit them.
Yeah.
And again, we're in that same discussion at 218 at a 9.8. Your risk versus reward, you might be better off at that 9.8.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, I didn't even touch on that, but yeah, 9.8 at basically, let's call it 220 Canadian. I mean, that's ridiculous because the site, when she does hit, that's game over. Now, guys and ladies, if you're watching on the Rewind Live, whatever the case may be, or 40 years in the future, here's the thing, though. And like Greg said, we usually forget what happens, and it's not that far away. It was literally like 5 months ago that this show was going on.
It's Christmas. Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing. When she shows up again, whether the market wants to still say 9, even though CGC is saying 11, and if we open the book, it is 11. What do people do? I can't get this one. I'm going to go to this one. I can't get this one. I'm going to go to this one. Can't get that one. I'm going to go down. And you go down the ladder as you go. So eventually people are going to go 9. Oh, wait. CGC is saying 11. Shoot, 11 takes precedent over 10, even though 10, I believe, is the best cover. But, I do think that this one will heat up. And I don't think that the price of 220 is going to be something that is there for a long time. So might want to take advantage. And who knows, right? Greg,
So
we know how the game works. Nobody's really remembering. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to messaging somebody on eBay who has this at 220 and just shooting them like, hey, 175. Right.
And the way the market is driven now with the internet and everything is very different. As soon as, like, I think that was a very good point you made, that they're now putting it on the CGC label.
Yeah.
Whether we agree with it or not, CGC drives the market right now. And no matter who says what, they determine the market's first appearance. The same way Overstreet did before, you can have your Hulk 180, 181, and 181 is taking precedent just because Overstreet said that, right?
Yep.
So now that it's on the label and you have 2 books up on the wall and somebody's going to decide which Echo book do I want? Do I want the one that says first appearance? Or do I want the one that says first appearance Maya Lopez? Do you want the first Cletus Cassidy or do you want the first Carnage? First Eddie Brock or Venom? Like, we're moving in that direction with this book.
Exactly. And like I said, it works for some books. It doesn't work for others, right? So like, that's one of the biggest pet peeves I have in our community is the fact that why does it work for this book, but it doesn't work for that book, but it works for this one, but not necessarily that one. I get it. It's because of the market and usually the people that have the copy, right? Obviously, if you own this one, you're going to stick with this one. You're going to be like, yeah, no, I bought this one, but it's actually 9, right? Like, it doesn't work that way. So I get it. But at the same time, I think it's important to note that, CGC, kind of is putting this one. But again, I mean, why don't we just open the books? I mean, why don't we do that? Why don't we open 9? Why don't we read 9? Why don't we open 11? And why don't we read 11 and see what goes on? Because if
you buy the trade, and then
yeah, exactly, right. So, but from my understanding, 9, first appearance of Maya Lopez. That's it, just as her. 10, first cover of Echo. 11, first appearance of Maya Lopez as Echo. So we do have to take it again. Just pick up all 3 if you got the funds. Now, Greg, as I'm talking about 11, I've got to bring up 9. Why? Well, for the same reasons. The fact that we are still sleeping on this character and she's going to have her own show. So whether you believe it's 11, whether you believe it's 10, whether you believe it's this one, regardless, she is going to be Maya. She's also going to be Echo. So this one is obviously the one the market dictates, but it's definitely one that is still going to rise. So right now, current CGC prices, and again, you look at the prices, 9.8 just sold for $595. Let's call it 600. So you're realistically looking at what, 380 more than issue 11. So we'll see, but definitely one that will rise because what happened during the show when we got her? This one rose, 10 rose, 11 rose. So obviously meat on the bone. What do you see? Are we sleeping on this key?
See, this is why it's good to have other people on the show to disagree with you.
Ooh, okay.
Look at this one. So this one you're saying is 150 to 280. Only 2 issues earlier, so there's not a time gap. And the other one was $3 to $30.
Yep.
And the other one is labeled first appearance of Echo.
Yep.
You want to talk about where room is and opportunity is? I think room and opportunity on this one is a little shallow, to be honest with you. I think this will go up. I think this is the better cover. But I do think there's way more meat on the bones of 11 than 9, and I don't know how much meat is on this bones. I think people sprung to this one attached to it, and $595, I think, is about where it should sit.
Yeah. I could see this one, and again, I'm a big believer in if the character's on a screen or has a show, 9.8, it deserves to be 750 to 1,000. It's usually there. Now, whether it's the first time we see this character or whatever, or the character reappears down the road, I do think it. So for those reasons, I put this one on the list, especially simply because it's going to be an Echo show. It's going to be all about her. So we're not just going to have, little pieces of her throughout a Hawkeye story. It's literally going to be her. We're going to get a sense of who she really is, everything. I don't think it's going to be origin, but I do think that we're going to get more action, a lot more of that. More characters are going to come into this as well, just simply because, she is deaf. So like, it's not like we're going to have a show with not that much dialogue. So I do think there's going to be more characters. I think that's going to help the show. I really do think that this book will rise and have some success as well.
And do you think the Echo show is where we're going to get full-on Daredevil back into the into the MCU? Do you think, like, we'll get cameos and stuff, but do you think this is going to be the Daredevil coming out party?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I think in Daredevil or in Echo, I think we get the first look at Bullseye or Lady Bullseye, depending on what version they go to, which will in turn bring out Daredevil or Elektra. I actually, if I was a betting man, would probably, just to put it out there, I would probably bet on some sort of like cameo Easter egg, something on Elektra before Daredevil, because I do think that Daredevil they probably want to put in like a movie first.
You don't think they're going to play the blind death?
They could, and
senses like.
I just think that would be a little much, right? Especially if the show doesn't go that way. If I had to guess on where Daredevil would go, I think the easy answer would be She-Hulk.
So. Yeah, as a lawyer, I think we'll see Matt Murdock maybe more in She-Hulk, whereas Daredevil, and like, is Echo enough to really sell a show? Do you know what I mean? As far as Disney goes, so what else are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's going to be more characters.
Party, and that could really do something for Echo.
What has Black Widow done to her appearances after being in so many movies? Female characters are bad spec due to the collector base. They love to hate the female characters. Yeah, but it's a different time now than 2007 when.
But he's also talking like Black Widow first appearance. Like there are big Black Widow covers out there. Like some of the J. Scott Campbell stuff like that. Like people like Black Widow. Yeah. So don't underestimate that.
Yeah.
And Echo's a young character too.
It's true. All right, let's go on to the next book. And yes, the first Marvel sex scene book will definitely be making its way onto the show. What do I mean? Well, Eternals, obviously. I hope you guys can read. I know, I'm okay reading, but the Eternals 1. 9/8 at the height, and just before the movie was released, just before the trailer, and even during the trailers, 9/8 were selling at $4,200 Canadian. Currently, 9.8s are selling at 1,027. Let's call it 1,030. That is a massive drop. Almost 1/3. Just showing off some math. Second movie plus cameos elsewhere. I mean, it obviously looks like, I can't remember the exact name, so I apologize. I don't want to butcher them, but like, the one chick was kidnapped. Then Angelina Jolie's was Star Fox. Then we got Black Knight. Like all these characters are, all together. For investment purposes, I do think that we're sleeping on this one, because just like this book, before we even knew this was going to be a thing, and all of us said the same thing. Oh, that book was everywhere, so I didn't really pay attention to it. Okay. But I can guarantee you, if any 9/8 Eternals goes under 750, I'll pick it up. Why? Because when they come back, obviously, they're going to correct most of what people didn't want. There's probably going to be more action. They're clearly going to be around for at least a third installment. It's not going to be a third one, right? I get the vibe that it's going to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they'll correct the things that most people were complaining about. I kind of liked it, so I don't really care. But honestly, I think that this is going to be one of those books that people are going to be like, fuck, I should have bought it the second time around. I really should have. Not saying that the 9/8s are going to get to 4,200, but I could definitely see the 9/8s getting back to at least 2,200 max. Still, for an investment purpose, I think you got some, meat on the bone, and these characters seem to be around. Like, they're going to be around. So for those reasons, I think this is the key we're sleeping on. Greg, what do you think, man?
I'm waiting for my right opportunity to pounce on one of these, or a couple of these, to be
9/8, or like, are you like, what do you
like? I like a good deal, just a good deal. I don't know if I'd be in the market. I would love a 9/8, to be honest with you. Like, I'd love a 9/8 of any book, but like this book in high grade though, like with the black cover and everything like that, you're getting.
Thanks, Nine. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I don't want to. I'm not showing any disrespect with not putting U.S. prices. I apologize, but like, my mortgage is paid in Canadian, so I apologize, guys.
Wonders by his calculator for us. We appreciate it, man. Lots of you're getting another movie, so there's going to be another spike. We talk about peaks and valleys. We're in a valley right now, and I think what happened was nobody was specking on Eternals. Okay, we got Eternals news. Everybody was grabbed up all the Eternals and sent them to CGC at the exact same time because nobody gave a crap about Eternals. Yep. Everybody got all their Eternals backs at the same time and all put them on eBay at the exact same time.
Yep.
And this is what happened to this book. However, nobody more is sending Eternals to CGC anymore. I think all the ones, not all, but the majority of the really high grade ones are already back. So I don't think we're going to see another flood of the market. And I think people are very scared of this book now.
Yeah.
So that's where risk versus rewards comes into play. And I guarantee that this will never go below 1,000 long term. Do you know what I mean? We might get down to 900, but it's never going to settle below 1,000.
Yeah. And people are saying in the chat, and I was, reference is the fact that they have so many crossovers that they've already hinted at, and possible team ups and stuff like that, like Black Knight. 4 projects he signed on to. So, it's possible that some of those characters are around. And, I like the movie, sex scene or not. I like the movie. I thought it answered a few things that I had question marks about with Marvel and at the end, with all that. So I enjoyed it. Everybody wanted more action and this and that and Galactus and Silver Surfer. It didn't happen. Not saying that the next one will have those characters, but they're obviously going to think of more ways to do it. Now, I see some comments like, hey, there's 600 on the census. There's this, that. Look at Hulk 181. Look at Hulk 180. Look at New Mutants 98. Yeah. Look at, ASM 129. So many. But this book, if you're looking for an investment and going back to the one thing that I preach to everybody about patience, you want to make some money down the road. If this thing goes down by $1,000 to 750, 800 Canadian, I'm telling you right now, when the next movie and those crossovers and things like that, you'll make your money back 100%. I think I'd grab a Raw again for cover buy. Yeah, it depends. It depends.
For cover. Yeah. It's a great cover. If you want this in your collection, you buy Raw because you can get a steal on maybe not a really high grade, but one that presents really nice.
Yeah, look at ASM 300, right? There's so many examples of it. And again, it goes back to, print run. We only really care about print run when it comes to certain books, because then other books, you could be like, well, the print run on this is 700,000, and people are like, well, it's okay, right?
Well, so in simple terms, it's supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants a first appearance of Venom in their collection, and though there might be however many thousand out there, there's still more collectors than there are people who have that in their collection.
Yeah.
So yeah, there might be 600 9/8s out there, but I bet you there's more than 600 people who want a 9/8 in their collection.
Yeah. And guys, I'm just saying this, but I do think that when the second movie comes out or these characters kind of cross over, I think the price will be down on so many of these that people are going to be like, oh shit, maybe I should grab one. Maybe I should grab one or two because of the price. And then it's just going to get everybody going crazy again. And like I said, people are going to get to that point where they're like, shoot, I should have bought it the second time around. So we'll see. I do believe that 9/8, when they do appear, 2,000. You could laugh, but take this into consideration. We all knew Deadpool 3 was going to happen, right? Everybody thought, hey, you know what? Yeah, there's going to be a Deadpool 3. There was rumors, no confirmation. 9/8 literally stood for about $800, right? Deadpool 3 last year confirmed to be coming. Literally jumped to $2,800 just like that. There's so many copies. I get Deadpool over Eternals, but at the same time, everything goes back up once characters reappear. And if everybody wants the character or characters to kind of grow, I do think that the book will go up.
I guess the argument to be had is that the big characters from Eternals aren't necessarily in Eternals 1.
That's the I think that's the one thing about Eternals. They're not all in this as their first app, right?
Yeah.
So, Eternals are not going anywhere. Goodbye. Thanks, Greg.
They'll be around for eternity.
Oh, God.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. All right. This one, I think we're going to have some disagreements on, because we were talking about this book like privately in our private chat, but Fantastic Four 94, one of my favorite books, one that's on my Grail list. I mean, a Grail can be anything, but like this is one that I would really like to complete. My birthday's coming up, just so anybody knows. First appearance of Agatha. Obviously, she's going to be showing up again. Her show is slated to come out in 2024. With that world of magic and horror coming up, like she fits the bill. Franklin. I mean, if you're a Franklin Richards fan like I am, you know that she was the nanny for Franklin. So Fantastic Four comes into play. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen right away, but I mean, it is something that we could kind of look down the road to kind of connect some dots, right? I love this book. The house behind it just says horror. Like it brings in that horror aspect, that Halloween aspect to me. So I don't know. I've always been a fan of this book. I love this book. I want to get it. Current raw prices, $80 to $250, not really terrible. And then current CGC prices, the last sold 9.0, $842. So on the higher end, obviously, it's expensive. Don't think, oh, I'm going to get a 9.8 in this and it's going to be cheap. No, I think a 9.8 in this is like one. I don't think I've seen one, but I think I've seen like a 9.4 go for like 22, 26, somewhere around there, I think. So definitely heat. But again, the show is coming. So she's got her own show coming. That's the big thing here. So this book is just going to go up. Greg, are we sleeping on this? Because I know you don't agree with this pick.
It's not that I'm so torn on this one. Like, I think I told you, like, I thought one way and then I thought the other way. I think there is a buying opportunity, and I do think there will be a selling opportunity as a speculator right before the show comes out. But I do think the window to sell is going to be small. So I think if you can do it right, and I get concerned, again, if you get on that Raw train and you miss the trailer and you miss your selling opportunity, if you've bought it for an investment purpose. Agatha will be around for a long time. I do believe that. I don't think they were planning on having her around maybe for as long as they're going to now.
Yeah.
What's her name? Catherine Hahn?
I don't know. So I'm going to just agree. Yes.
But she was awesome. Like, she made WandaVision and everybody wanted more of her.
Yeah.
So I think long-term, yeah, and I think it'll be a long-term growth. But I do think if you're buying as a flip, your window to flip will be very, very small.
People usually lately have said to me, Noob, how do you not like Moon Knight with all the different avenues that, Oscar Isaac plays, right? He goes back and forth with Mark and Steven, from good to bad. I think the same thing could be said for the Catherine lady, right? Like at the beginning, she was that fun and like cool, like neighbor. And then out of nowhere, it was just like evil. Like that scene where she was, back in Salem and like she was tied. And then the witches, like that was dark.
She killed her mom.
Yeah. And she killed her. Like there was just a lot of that where I was like, whoa, like if they ever did, like if this is the route they go, like in the horror world, magic world with her, that's going to be dope. And she's getting her own show. I would assume it might be a prequel because she is in that trapped world. So who knows? But like, man, I really do think that this book will spike. And again, we always forget. We do this with every character. Moon Knight, Riri, Secret Wars, Secret Invasion. Just wait a few months when Secret Invasion has a few things, right? Like we always do this. This is not going to be an exception. When this book gets a trailer or we see new casting or picture leaks, guess what? This thing's going to spike again. So I do agree with Greg in the sense that like it depends on the grade. It depends on how fast you can get it. But at the same time, there is meat on the bone. So I would be careful for this one. If you come across a good deal, I'd probably snatch it up.
I will say too, Disney does witches very well.
Yeah.
So you're skeptical of horror, but all like their big cartoons, a lot of their big movies all involve a witch, and they love witches, and it's a safe avenue to go down.
This FF94 is now a very long-term hold, and Rocksteady points out not much money to be made. I disagree, and Greg knows that. But
we're allowed, and that's the beauty of it, right? If we all agree, like it would be boring.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, but it makes it fun, right? So we'll see when the show comes out. We'll talk. Just remember 9.0 for 842, Raw's 8 for 80 to 250. All right, this is probably one of my favorite books that I always say I will go and find and that I'm gonna buy, but then I always just kind of reserve myself because I'm like, I do that whole like, man, are they really gonna do Hellcat though? Even though I connect the dots and I do my research and I think about like all these strategies, the fact that there was that that Easter egg in Hawkeye with this character, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things, and then like I'm still like, nah, I don't know, because I do the compare game, right? Like 550, I can go and get like something that I really want, not for like spec. So, first appearance of Hellcat, possible She-Hulk appearance, possible future Young Avengers appearance, possible another Kate Bishop appearance. I guess that goes into the same category as Young Avengers, but don't forget there was that scene, episode 1, the first time we see Kate Bishop. Who's calling her? It's Greer. It's Greer. So that led a lot of people to think of Hellcat, but for whatever reason, we just kind of like just died. We didn't really give this character any life, anything. Like Greg says, though, this has a cult following. A lot of people are Hellcat fans. Same amount, if not more, than Moon Knight. Same style, right? This character, though, graded prices. I mean, you look at the prices, 9.6 for 550 leads me to think that a 9.8 should be what, 800, 900. Usually it's like a little bit double, go around there. So the potential for her to like come in and kind of like kick ass if, you know, she, you know, relates to people or whatever, people take her in as a really good one. I mean, I think it's a good catch. Raw prices, $40 to $90, obviously depending on price. I think the smarter move would be to obviously buy it raw. What are your thoughts, Greg? Are we sleeping on this key?
I think this is where you get down to the difference between speculation and flipping. Okay. So look at all those question marks there. Possible She-Hulk, possible Young Avengers, possible Kate Bishop. Hellcat has rolled on her own. So she's kind of like that utility player. So she's one of those characters that you can almost throw into any series. So I think when we do see Hellcat, we're not going to see her coming. So I think this is one where it's going to be this until we see her. Like, I don't think it's going to be a trailer. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. We're just going to see her, and this thing's going to double overnight. So I think we will see, I don't know soon or not, but I think we will see Hellcat.
Wasn't there a rumor that she might show up in She-Hulk? Like, I thought that was like a thing that people were talking about.
I think there's been a few, her name has come up a few times. So, yeah, I'm not 100%. She-Hulk is a mystery to me. Like, it's the one series that I'm like, I don't know where it's going to go. And maybe it's because I don't know much about She-Hulk.
Well, they're going fourth wall comedy. Ally McBeal is what the vibe everybody was getting. Now, of course, they could just be like, fuck this. Also, I am getting reports that Mr. Ultra Maximus is in the house. What's going on? Sorry, I'm late. Dude, you're never late. It's okay, man. Appreciate you stopping by. He has first Hellcat, so I'm a little jealous. 4 out of 10. And yeah, so she was in the Jessica Jones show. I never watched it, so that's probably why.
I think I fell asleep.
Yeah, that one was not. But I mean, okay, regardless, the character, you know, the book is still, you know, that's a nice price tag to have. I wouldn't mind having this book. I really wouldn't. I like everything about it. I mean, Iron Man's on the cover, right? That tells you pretty much.
Look what's happened with Mockingbird, right? So
yeah. So I would be looking out for this one, man. This one's a good one.
It's a cool one.
All right, guys. Next book on the list is special Marvel edition number 15. Obviously I don't need to introduce this book. I don't even need to like rev it up or, hype it up too much rather. First appearance of Shang-Chi. Second movie is obviously coming. Future Avenger. Fin Fan Foom, who knows with the rings, right? The beacon. A lot more information is coming up that could possibly be the villain now, not necessarily, Silver Surfer, Galactus, or anything like that. Maybe Eternals, who knows? Current raw price, that one's up in the air. I mean, you can get copies for 200, 300, 400. I mean, there's crazy, $500, $600 raws depending on condition, right? So take it as you will. Current 8.5 just sold for $1K. Now, I will say that is actually still $300 more. And I specifically put the 8.5 on here because, and if Hyper's still in here or he watches later, he'll agree with me. But me and Hyper, before the movie came out, we were talking about possibly buying this just for an investment purpose, and they had an 8.5, and it was literally $800 for it. This is before the movie. And I was like, ooh, man, I feel like that's a little too much. And I skipped on it. Then the movie came out and it literally went to like 1,400. So there was money to be made, right? You could have made like what, 4, 5, 6, 650, $700 on it. Now you look at it and it's selling for 1,000, which leads me to think that even if you bought it, sold it, and rebought it, you're still up $700, which leads me to think that this has still got room to grow. It's obvious that he is going to be a future Avenger and he's going to be around. They've tapped into that Asian market, and I think there's no going back here. So if you think it's a one and done, I think you're absolutely wrong. It was funny. It was entertaining. I thought the end scene with the dragon was kind of stupid. They should have kept it like him versus dad in an epic fight. But hey, you can't have your cake and eat it too, I guess, even though I never understood that saying because anytime I buy a cake, I eat it. So I don't get it. But Greg, I got to ask you, man, are we sleeping on this key?
This is my favorite book on the list.
Ooh,
I like that.
Okay.
I think first appearance of a major, and I mean like A level character in the MCU, and you can get like an 8.5 from this era on a black cover for $1,000. I think huge future. I think the movie was above everybody's expectations. I think we're gonna get a lot more of them. I would love one of these in my collection. I don't have one.
Mandarin was a waste.
And I got to get one soon.
It was uncanny. It was. Yeah. So Hyper, is confirming there. I don't know. Like I said, me being obviously I don't look Latino, but I am Latino, and I don't care if it's Asian, black, female, male, trans. I don't care. But the fact that it was successful, I mean, I don't think that they would have brought in this Asian character and then just said, you know what, this is where we're going to stop. I do think that they've tapped into that market, and the possibilities are endless with a lot of the Asian characters, Agents of Atlas, Arrow. There's so many. And obviously this character is going to come back. It was entertaining. This movie had what we call, and Greg, we've talked about this, is if you weren't a Marvel fan, you still went to go see it because it had that. Like the chick that he was friends with, like she was funny and it just kind of had that vibe. So that's why it was really successful too. So, I don't know. I know a lot of my buddies, wives or significant others or whatever, even like, family members of mine, coworkers went to go see this, not relating it to anything Marvel. Like they knew it was Marvel, but they didn't care that they didn't see anything else prior to it, right? They just liked the movie. So I think it's got a good future. It's got a little bit of comedy action. So I like it. I'm buying this one right now. It's cheap as fuck. Yeah. Like whatever Chris buys, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do the same. So
yeah, Chris or Ultra, right?
Yeah, Chris or Ultra. If Chris or Ultra is buying something, I'm like, all right, I need to. And there's other people in the chat. I see you. Don't worry. I don't want to just put those two guys on a pedestal. There's a lot of people that I follow, and I'm like, okay, I might have to look at this. Ninth, I see you. Empire, Chef, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Annoying is a better word. Hey, not everybody's gonna like everything, right? So, all right. This one has a problem, and I think it's the fact that it's 102. It's not 100. It's not 1. Even if it was 100, I think it'd be weird. Obviously can't be one, but you know, the big premiere issue, right? Hulk 102. This one's up there with like, you know, Iron Man 1, Submariner 1. What's the Captain America one? Is it Captain America 100?
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
So is it 101?
I can't remember.
100.
But I always thought that like Hulk and Cap were like kind of like, you know, that's what hurt them, right? Was the fact that it wasn't like a number one or like at 100, I guess, for this one, right? Like it's 102. I like this cover, love it. You know, you see the transformation. I really would love to have this in my collection one day. You know, I don't know, man. I think that this is one of the most slept on books, undervalued for sure. You know, ask the vets, ask the guys that have been collecting, you know, for 20, 30 plus years. They'll always tell you, you know, this is one to have. This is a good one. You know, just everything about it. Current raw prices, $150 to $280 Canadian. While CGC prices, man, this is crazy. But CGC prices 8.0 sold for $525. Now, let's, you know, call it out is I don't think there's any spec to this, right? We've already seen Hulk. How many more versions of Hulk can we get? I don't think this is going to move the needle. Now, will this go up? Yeah, a little bit. Not crazy. Like it's not going to be 500 today and then 4 months from now be like 1,000. And it's not going to be 2,000 in like 8 months. This one might be 525 today. In 6 months, it could be 600, right? Like somewhere around there. It's still like a nice book to have. It's a classic, in my opinion. This is just, if you really want it, you should probably get it because one day, you know, certain actors won't be around and you'll probably, you know, reference the character to those actors and actresses. And this one might be one to get. This is not a spec play by any means. I think this is just one for, you know, the classic, the premiere issue, you know, that's pretty much it. So this one definitely not a spec pick, but still definitely meat on the bone down the road, but definitely undervalued as well. Greg, are we sleeping on this key like most people are?
We're sleeping on everything Hulk. Everything Hulk is so cheap and it blows my mind. Like this is a 12 center first like own title book for those price. Like what's a Hulk 340 going for?
Oof. But I haven't looked at the prices in like that one for
prices,
a long
right?
for a
like
while.
So what would you rather? Like we were talking the other day, like what book would you rather have? And the fact that this one is so cheap, I would put it up against a bunch of my books, and I would probably rather have this one.
Over 340. Over 340?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I agree. I agree with you. I'd rather have this one than 340.
And in an 8.0, like that cover, good luck.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen, what's the highest I've seen? I think I've seen the highest maybe like a 4.5 or maybe a 6, somewhere around there.
Because the people who have them, it's in their collections.
Yeah, it's not
and
one.
That's why there's not a whole lot of hype. Like, I don't know. And I think if we ever get like Immortal Hulk, that's where I think these ones start. I think if we get onto a different Hulk train and he starts going off again, I think that's when you start seeing the Hulk issues pick up. Or there's going to be something in the market. And people, like we've seen it, there's a domino effect where people get priced out of one book or people get priced out of another. And then people, all of a sudden, there's attention to Hulk 102.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed? And Chris, what grade is yours? I'm interested to know. Lately I've had, let me get, there's one on Instagram, Brandon, and then, okay. So I've got about 3 people, 2 for sure that I know are like putting their money where their mouth is. Because I've been helping them kind of find like an Iron Man or, you know, connect them to like people who are selling these books. But I have a few friends and people that I know that are actually actively trying to complete the big premiere issues of all the characters. So Captain America, Iron Man 1, Submariner 1, this one. There's one more, but I can't think of it. I think it's Thor, but I can't remember. Thor. No. Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Submariner. I think that's it. I thought there was a 5th. For whatever reason, I thought there was a 5th. But anyway, I know that there's a lot of people going after that in very high grade. Because I am talking to somebody and I'm trying to help them get all of them. So I hope it happens. But the more I talk to them and the more I see it, I'm like, shoot, I should be doing this. Now, I'd be okay toasting.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Bro, come on, man. We're gonna be doing this YouTube thing in 25 years from now, and Ninth's gonna come on here and be like, I told you. Oh, that made my night. But like, it makes me want to go and get these. Now, I could care less about the submit. Sorry, I don't mean I could care less.
Silver Surfer one is probably the
Silver Surfer. That's the one. Yes. So there is 5. Out of all of them, I have Iron Man 1, but I would probably go for this one and the Silver Surfer one next. Personally, I could care less about the Cap one. So
you're never going to be able to buy this again at this price. I'll tell you that. This is not a book that will ever go down.
No, but it's not going to,
because it's not on a wave, right?
Yeah, and it never will be. I don't think. I don't even think a new reboot Hulk would make this thing just explode either. Like, I just think, sadly, I think a lot of those Hulk books are just where they are outside of 180, 181, 340, 234. I mean, that one's spiking, but like, outside of it, I think that's where this is going to be. This is for like, true love of the art, of the comic, of the artist, of the story, premiere issue. Like, it's just dope. And I hope to get one of these for sure.
Do you think the character of Hulk has gotten old?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because like when you see like big covers nowadays, like rarely is it Hulk featured. Like rarely do we get that top variant that makes all the lists and whatever that's like a Hulk cover.
You know what I think the problem is for Hulk is the fact that he's had 3 people play the character, and it was before like the Iron Man stuff. So like, as much as people reference, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk that they know, we also can't forget that, like, it wasn't too far from his appearance as Hulk that the other movies came out, right? So I always thought truly that that's what really hurt the character for some books, for example, big time. So I don't know. And they also, like, he's older, right? So like, what more can you do with it? Like, they tried doing Professor Hulk, and I mean, that was cool, but
Mr.
Like,
Fix-It, I think, was what they're going for.
Yeah. So like, I don't know.
Immortal Hulk, that's why I think is like the last direction for Hulk.
Yeah. You know what? I was having a conversation with Vancouver Comic Junkie actually about like Hulks. It was brief, and I hope we kind of like, revisit it down the road, like just, to chat and chatter, but like, you made a good point. He's like, man, like, we've had him for so long. 3 people have played him. Like, they're going, there was rumors of, what was it? Planet Hulk, right? Like, everybody went crazy for that. Like, last summer, everybody was crazy on like Scar and this, right? And then everybody was like, oh, Amadeus Cho. And then they were like, oh, Immortal Hulk. And now She-Hulk. Like, I think it's just like over stagnant of Hulks now, right? Like, could that be a thing too?
And none of them have blown us away. Like, I love Mark Ruffalo. Like, he's great. Don't get me wrong. But he's never been like the star of a movie. Like, and the Hulk, like, that was one of the first Marvel movies we got in a long time, right? So, yeah, I remember seeing that.
Get the hell out of here. Motherfuckers in space right now. Can't wait for that movie. Yeah, it's gonna be going crazy. I don't know. Is it gonna be going crazy? I mean, it's just, Justice is in the house. What's going on, Justice? It's not the first issue though. It's just 100%. I think that's what hurts it, right?
It's the first in title, like solo title.
But this is the one that you kind of want to pair up with the other ones. That's the biggest thing about this, talking to like older people and stuff like that. Like, that's what it was. And yeah, like Chris said, there's just a shit ton of Hulks. Now, don't forget, there was also Yellow Hulk, right? In that Marvel action comic that came out like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Remember, everybody was going crazy for like a week and a half. So
Red Hulk, all that jazz.
Red Hulk, Yellow Hulk. I mean, I'm still waiting on Blue Hulk, Gray Hulk. Like, it's just like, oh. And then what did we get instead? We got Red Panther.
Beauty.
What? Come on. It's ridiculous. I want to see old Logan in Breed Hulks. Oh my God. I like Edward Norton better as Hulk. Yeah. I think that's just what's always hurt the character of Hulk. And then the fact that, Iron Man, obviously being biased, but at the same time, that is what kicked it off. So people remember that and then beyond. So Mark Ruffalo is kind of what they think, right? So And yeah, Clyde, 102 premiere issue is just odd, right?
Yeah.
Same with even Captain America, right? Even though that one's 100, right? Like the premiere one. I mean, it's still like, yeah, but it's 100. When you put it against the other ones, Silver Surfer 1, Iron Man 1, Submariner 1, doesn't have the same vibe, right? But hey, it is what it is.
Even that team up, that's that Submariner and Iron Man too is in that category, right?
Oh God, don't remind me. Man, there's people that like will be like, hey, like Submariner and Iron Man came out before Iron Man 1, and it's like, yeah, but like no one gives a fuck about that one. Unless you own that one, then you don't give a fuck. You care about this one right here. Boom.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll see. All right. Greg.
Yeah.
I thank you for coming on, man. We didn't really disagree too much. But you have some stuff coming up on Whatnot, and you've got, a few things happening in your side of the woods, as they say, neck of the woods. What's going on, man? Let the people know what's going on in Rocksteady Collectibles world.
I thought we had something coming up on Whatnot.
I know, but I wanted you to take the lead. You're the guest, so I just kind of wanted you to have it. So
yeah, so Thursday we're gonna go back to back. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I saw Newbie's books. Pretty stoked. So he's.
Oh yeah, you should probably say where, because like if you're like, yeah, we're going back to back, people might be like, what's going on here? So Whatnot.
On Whatnot. So that'll be fun. You're going on at 7:15.
Yeah.
I'm going on at 9, I believe. And then Saturday morning, Ozzy and I are going to go back to back, and we're going to do indie. And it's a whole bunch of sweet modern indie first, hard to get variants, tons of Philadelphia Canto. I saw Ozzy had a bunch of like signed books, so I'm really excited for both sales. I'm loving Whatnot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like it. So yeah, guys, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can bookmark, you can pre-bid, you can do all that jazz, but make sure come hang out, take a look at some of the books. But Newbie_comics on Whatnot, 7:15 p.m. Thursday, and then as soon as I'm done, my guy Rocksteady's gonna go. We are gonna take a little more videos and kind of promote the books that we have, so be on the lookout for that. If you see anything you like, message, whatever the case may be. Don't miss Rocksteady and Ozzy, their Canadian Bacon tour / show that they do on Saturday. It was really nice, so make sure you guys go check that out. And he also forgot, because he's on his Whatnot kick right now, but go follow Rocksteady Collectibles on Instagram. That's where he posts, and that's where he is. Don't be scared to message the guy. He's got a lot of knowledge, and he knows a lot of people selling books and stuff like that. So if you're looking for something, hit him up.
Thanks, man.
Of course. I usually like try to promote. Like I know when I have like Face or like some people, I'm always like the one promoting there because I'm like, yo, you forgot this or this. But yeah, definitely love having you on, man. Appreciate you hopping on. Hopefully we have you on more and more. We'll obviously be kicking it together Thursday, going back to back.
On Whatnot.
But yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had about 58, 60 people at the high, but everybody was rolling and kicking with us. Love the conversations as always, guys. I really do appreciate it. And like Rocksteady said, if you guys have an idea for a show, leave it in the comments and we'll do it. The comment about most overpriced moderns, definitely give me like 2-3 weeks. We'll do the show 100%. I've always been, trying to get ideas and do shows. So yeah, just let me know. Leave it in the comment. Hit me up on Instagram, obviously at Newbie Comics. And guys, that's the show. Enjoy Moon Knight tomorrow, episode 5. Don't forget, episode 4 was the one that supposedly changed Marvel forever, but it didn't. So enjoy episode 5. Enjoy New Comic Book Day. I don't have a book to say. Usually I end Tuesdays with, hey, make sure you pick this one up. What I'm going to leave you with is, I really do believe that Bushmaster or Bushman, whichever one you guys want to go with, might show up in episode 5. So I think that's going to be the big thing. So check it out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, I'm okay with that. But I do think that the character might show up. So with that said, Sunday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern time, Newbieverse, episode 90, 10 to 100. So we'll see. Bushmaster from Netflix. I think it's Bushman. But yeah. All right, gang. Thanks for hanging out.
As long as it's not from the adult section.
Yeah, as long as it's not from the adult section. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy your week, your New Comic Book Day and Moon Knight, guys. Later.